Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a closer look at one of the largest and most impressive invertebrates native to North America, the giant desert chocolate millipede, Orthoporus ornatus. Reaching lengths of over 8 inches, this incredible species spends most of its life hidden beneath the desert floor, emerging only under the right conditions. Although it has become a favorite among exotic invertebrate keepers, it remains one of the most difficult millipedes to reproduce in captivity. In this video, we'll explore its fascinating history, how it was discovered, its natural habitat, unique behaviors, and why breeding this remarkable species continues to challenge even the most experienced hobbyists. Before we can fully appreciate the giant desert chocolate millipede, it's worth learning about the scientists who first introduced it to the scientific world. Orthoporus ornatus was formally described in 1853 by French-American zoologist Charles Frederick Gerard. Born in Mulhouse, France in 1822, Gerard studied under some of Europe's leading naturalists before immigrating to the United States. He became one of the most respected zoologists of the 19th century, working extensively with the Smithsonian Institution and describing hundreds of new species of reptiles, amphibians, fishes, and invertebrates from across North America. During a time when much of the American Southwest remained scientifically unexplored, Gerard's work helped lay the foundation for our understanding of its unique wildlife. His description of Orthoporus ornatus in 1853 ensured that this remarkable desert millipede became a recognized part of the scientific record. And more than 170 years later, his contribution continues to influence research on one of North America's most fascinating invertebrates. Over the years, researchers learned that desert chocolate millipede plays an essential role in maintaining healthy desert ecosystems by breaking down decaying plant material and recycling nutrients back into the soil. Despite its name, the giant desert chocolate millipede doesn't spend its life crawling across open sand dunes. Instead, it inhabits rocky desert landscapes throughout Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and northern Mexico. These areas contain mesquite trees, creosote bushes, desert grasses, and scattered cacti that provide food and shelter. The millipede spends the vast majority of its life underground, constructing deep burrows where temperatures remain cooler and humidity stays much higher than on the scorching surface. These underground retreats allow it to survive extreme desert conditions that would quickly dehydrate many other invertebrates. One of the reasons so many people rarely encounter this species is because it remains underground for most of the year. The giant desert chocolate millipede usually emerges only after seasonal monsoon rains soak the desert soil. These brief periods of moisture create ideal conditions for feeding, traveling, and finding mates before the ground dries once again. Most activity takes place during cool evenings, overnight hours, or early mornings when temperatures are much lower. As daylight returns and the desert begins heating up, the millipede retreats back beneath the surface where it remains safe from both predators and extreme heat. Although its appearance may seem intimidating, the giant desert chocolate millipede is completely harmless and spends its life performing one of nature's most important jobs. Rather than hunting other animals, it feeds on dead leaves, rotting wood, decaying cactus, dried vegetation, and other organic debris. As it consumes this material, it breaks it into smaller particles that microorganisms can continue decomposing. This process returns valuable nutrients back into the desert soil, supporting plant growth and helping maintain healthy ecosystems. Without animals like this millipede, decomposition in desert environments would occur much more slowly. Living in one of North America's harshest environments requires remarkable adaptations. The giant desert chocolate millipede has developed a thick exoskeleton that helps reduce water loss while providing protection against predators. When threatened, it immediately curls into a tight spiral, shielding its soft underside beneath layers of armored body segments. If the danger continues, specialized defensive glands release chemicals with a strong odor and unpleasant taste that discourage predators from taking another bite. While these secretions are not dangerous to humans, they can irritate sensitive skin or eyes, making hand washing after handling a good idea. Despite decades of keeping this species in captivity, successful breeding remains extremely uncommon. Scientists and hobbyists believe the main reason lies in the millipede's highly specialized natural environment. In the wild, these animals experience seasonal monsoon rains followed by long dry periods, natural temperature fluctuations, deep underground humidity, and complex soil ecosystems filled with beneficial microorganisms. Their reproductive cycle is likely triggered by a precise combination of these environmental conditions. Even carefully maintained enclosures rarely recreate every one of these natural signals, making breeding attempts frustratingly unsuccessful for most keepers. Although breeding is incredibly difficult, keeping giant desert chocolate millipedes healthy is much more achievable with proper care. They require a very deep substrate that allows extensive burrowing, since spending time underground is a natural part of their daily life. Their enclosures should provide moisture deep within the soil while allowing the surface to remain relatively dry, closely matching the conditions found in their native habitat. They also benefit from a constant supply of decaying hardwood, leaf litter, and natural organic material that serves as both food and shelter. One of the most common mistakes made by new keepers is keeping the entire enclosure too wet, which does not accurately reflect their desert environment. The giant desert chocolate millipede is a true survivor of the American Southwest. From its discovery in the 1850s to its hidden underground lifestyle today, Orthoporus ornatus continues to fascinate scientists, nature enthusiasts, and invertebrate keepers around the world. Its enormous size, important ecological role, and mysterious breeding habits remind us that even some of the most familiar-looking creatures still hold many unanswered questions. While captive breeding remains one of the greatest challenges in the hobby, every new observation brings us one step closer to understanding this remarkable desert giant. Growing into one of North America's largest millipedes is a slow process. Every few months, young giant desert chocolate millipedes shed their old exoskeleton in a process known as molting. Before each molt, they burrow deep underground where the stable temperature and humidity protect their soft bodies. After emerging from the old exoskeleton, the new one remains delicate for several days while it hardens. With each successful molt, they gain additional body segments and new pairs of legs, becoming longer and stronger. This gradual growth continues throughout much of their juvenile life, eventually producing the impressive adults that can exceed 8 inches in length. Even with their impressive size and armored bodies, giant desert chocolate millipedes still face numerous predators in the wild. Roadrunners, coyotes, foxes, skunks, lizards, snakes, and even some beetles may prey upon them when given the opportunity. Their best defense is avoiding danger altogether by spending most of their lives underground. If discovered, they immediately curl into a tight spiral, protecting their vulnerable underside beneath overlapping body segments. If that isn't enough, they release full-smelling defensive chemicals that make them an unpleasant meal for most predators. These remarkable defenses have helped the species survive in the deserts of North America for countless generations. The giant desert chocolate millipede may not receive the same attention as mammals, birds, or reptiles, but its role in the desert ecosystem is incredibly important. Every fallen leaf, dead cactus, and decaying branch eventually becomes food for this remarkable recycler. By breaking down organic material, the millipede returns valuable nutrients to the soil, supporting the growth of desert plants and the countless organisms that depend on them. Their burrowing also helps loosen compacted soil, improving water movement after seasonal rains. Although they often go unnoticed beneath our feet, giant desert chocolate millipedes are essential engineers of the desert, quietly helping maintain the health and balance of one of the world's most challenging environments. The giant desert chocolate millipede is more than just a fascinating pet or an unusual creature. It is an important part of the desert ecosystem. As a natural recycler and soil builder, it plays a role in keeping desert habitats healthy and functioning. By learning about species like Orthoporus ornatus, we gain a greater appreciation for the hidden animals that often go unnoticed. These ancient desert giants prove that some of the most incredible creatures on Earth are not always the largest or most famous, but the ones quietly working beneath our feet. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of the giant desert chocolate millipede. and we'll see you in the next adventure.